So in this case, we have two things here. One is the emotion, and the other one is the action. This combination between emotion and action is where we put it together and we call it active roles. So an active role is the combination between an emotion and an action. So in these roles, we say that in a nutshell, and we are going to expand there later, in a nutshell, the roles can be constructive roles. A constructive role is like this emotion and action makes me act in a way that makes me grow, protects me, protects the other, makes me grow. And in the human terms, it makes me a better person, because that constructive role makes me grow. But also we have behaviors that when we play on that with that behaviors, we have this behavior we call fragmented. And that fragmented behavior, as the word says, breaks me down, tires me, and doesn't make me be the best person of myself. So in that case, the fragmented role will put me down. An example that we can put as a constructive role could be like a happy sharer. So happy is the emotion, sharer is the action. But also it can be a fragmented role, it can be an angry shouter. And guess both of them are fragmenting. But sometimes we mix both. We mix an emotion that is constructive and an action that is fragmenting, or vice versa. We make an emotion that is fragmenting and an action that is constructive. And in that case, we call it ambivalent. An ambivalent role is a mix between both. For example, if I'm doing a good action with somebody, helping somebody, but I'm resentful. So the emotion is resentful, but the action is helper. So this is attention. We're going to expand on that in another video. But here is to have a look how it works and why this is so important. Just again, connecting the biology and the brain to an example. Well, we have three women friends that meet often for a tea or to study or a book club or something like that. They meet together. The three friends are Lina, Joe, and Betty. Lina is always late. So Lina arrives always late to the meetings. And let's see how two different people may see the same event. So we have Lina, and then we have Joe, and we have Betty. We have also the brain. As we are going to copy this, we have the brain, and we say that for Lina coming late, this is the stimulation. That stimulates the thalamus, and the thalamus will respond with the amygdala and then the information, the frontal lobe. We are not going to repeat that at the moment. So we know that process. So Joe sees Lina coming late again. So we have here, as we saw before, a stimulus that goes to the receptor, the central control system, and how she responds. But before is how does she perceives the stimulus. So she perceives the stimulus that Lisa is a selfish manipulator. Now, in active role theory, we don't use this terminology, because selfish in this case is boxing the person with a label, and manipulator is the same, like a label. So we ask the person to go deeper or to look at the behavior from a different angle. Instead of putting a label, to go, what do you think that is that Lina feels? And she says she only thinks of herself. So in that case, she says, it's a self-centered, and what is she doing? It's always coming late. So the action is very simple. It's late, comer. Late comer. So this is the stimulation. This is the stimulation that goes to Lena, that goes to Joe, and Joe triggers in Joe this response. In that case, an immediate response, that is the amygdala, says she is not good to me or to us. She's a selfish person. No, this is Joe's reading. So Joe cannot not respond. So in the way that they're creating her anger, and Joe responds like an angry withdrawer. As an angry withdrawer. Let's have a look, very quick look, at the two roles we are seeing here. So we call these active roles. Self-centered. We say that this is a fragmented role, fragmented emotion. And latecomer, in that case, is also a fragmented. It's not fitting what they should be. So for her, Lena is playing a fragmented role. Now, this is the stimulation. How does she respond? She responds as an angry withdrawer. I will show her very clearly that I'm an angry, I'm not going to talk to her. So in that case, angry withdrawer are also a fragmenting role. In that case, we have a relationship fragmented. This is through the lens that Joe sees Lena's action of coming late. This is one way. This is the way, this is the lens from which Joe sees Lena. But Betty have a different view. Betty uses a different lens. Betty knows that Lena is passing through, or is living for a long time, through difficult situations, managing and juggling a lot of things in life. Her mother, her children, and the situations, a not cooperative husband, very complicated. So Betty knows that. Actually, Joe knows that too. Lena from a different angle. So Betty sees Lena as an overwhelmed, and also the action is latecomer. We can see this, have the same stimulation, the process, the central control system will create a different reading. But in reality, the first response from Betty when she was late was not very nice. The first response is, oh, again, Lena is late. So she responded with the amygdala because we cannot not respond with that. She responded in that way, but very quickly. She said, Lena is not against us. So she put the information into the frontal lobe, and the frontal lobe decoded that she's not danger. She's not danger. She's just overwhelmed. So Betty was able to process the emotion in a way that makes her understand Lena in a different way. I said she's an overwhelmed latecomer. And she responded as a warm welcomer. So we see here that an overwhelmed latecomer, in that case, this is a fragmented role. No, it's latecomer. It's not. The reality is that she feels very bad, overwhelmed. In that case, a latecomer. And the reality is that Lena hasn't learned very much about time management, that even though she's overwhelmed, she can do better. But for Betty, she didn't think like that. So there is a fragmented role, but Betty responds in a constructive way. That is a warm welcomer. Actually, we can add another person to the book club. We can call Jenny. And Jenny may have seen the same situation. She also sees overwhelmed latecomers, but Jenny responds to the role of resentful, welcomer. In that case, Jenny responds with an ambivalent role. It will be, "Hi Lena, how are you?" but in a patronizing way, in a resentful way. So these are the ways that we can respond. This is how the brain works. The important thing is here that we can do something about it. Because for Jo, she feels angry, and it's a fair enough emotion that we have. And people say, "Oh, I have the right to be angry." Of course we have the right to be angry. But instead of responding through a fragmenting role, Jo can learn to respond in a constructive way. So instead of Jo staying in this emotional 12 millisecond behavior, she can learn to add to that 12 milliseconds a rational process that it makes us human, that we can learn to live life better and respond in a better way. So instead of being an angry withdrawer that is so clear how she feels, she can really confront Lena, and she can be a calm confronter. And in that case, being a calm confronter is a constructive role. So Jo can confront Lena and say, "Lena, are you okay? Are you okay? I know that she's overwhelmed. Are you okay? Have a drink, have something, sit down." And then calmly, I can say, "Lena, is there anything you can do to come on time? We have our book club and we start always late because of you. Is there anything you can do, or we can do, change the time, because we really like to see if we can change this so you can come on time." Because this makes me very angry when that happens. And I just want to see if we can do something different. So in that case, the anger is there, but it's processed in a way that I can do something better. And I can change instead of responding from a fragmented role to a constructive role. This is when we say that we can learn how to live life better. And an important part here too is to see what will be the Enneagram type of these different people. Because different people will see danger in a totally different way. So, looking at you, are you a 12 millisecond person that stays there? Or are you a 18 millisecond or a 30 milliseconds person that is the sum of both, that are able to look at the stimulation I receive, but process in a way that allows me to respond in a constructive way. As we mentioned before, the constructive way makes me grow, makes the other person grow, and help us to live, once again, life better. And once again, have a look at the way you respond. So looking at the way I'm responding from a 12 millisecond response, or I'm adding an 18 milliseconds response from which I can change from fragmenting to constructive. This will benefit me, but also will benefit the other person and everyone around. It is possible to learn how to live life better.